My name's Nicola. I'm a psychologist that works with the Dyslexia Association of Ireland, and so we offer a range of assessments for people with dyslexia and also supports for both children and adults with dyslexia. Dyslexia is a difficulty with reading and with spelling as well. So it's nothing really to do with intelligence. It's basically an unexplained difficulty with reading, so a difficulty that doesn't make sense in regard to how bright someone is in other areas. To an employer, it would look like if they're making a series of small little errors with regard to their typos, say in emails, things like that. Maybe a difficulty with reading aloud, or kind of using a flip chart in a presentation or in a meeting or something like that. In terms of kind of different supports that the companies can put in place, I think with an understanding environment, it'll allow people that when they're sending internal emails, that maybe that if they have some little spelling errors, it's okay, and there's an understanding that it's okay, or that they can for instance express themselves using bullet points will be a good approach. And say if they have to send emails maybe outside to clients, maybe if they had a series of templates that they can use and they can edit those templates accordingly, that can be a good strategy to help out. If you want to create an environment where people can disclose, it's important that you start that from day one, that really at the interview stage, that it's made clear and it's actually said to somebody that they're not expected to just know this by looking at your website and things like that. So I think that's the key first step. I think the next step then is to make line managers aware of what dyslexia is and the type of difficulties people have, and to allow them to be comfortable to talking to staff with dyslexia, and then to allow staff with dyslexia to be comfortable talking to their line managers. And that's key. It's kind of facilitating that communication and that open disclosure policies, I suppose. So some common misconceptions about dyslexia would be that people think people with dyslexia read backwards. So maybe read saw as was, or read B as a D. And that can sometimes happen, but that's not really the core of what dyslexia is. It's really down to people developing an automatic understanding of the sounds that make up words. That's the real core of what dyslexia is. It's important for employees to be open to people with dyslexia working there and to provide those kind of supports. Really, I suppose, to get the best potential out of the people you've already working for you, but then also, I suppose, to find graduates with the skill sets that people with dyslexia have.
Hi, my name is James Nortridge and I'm from Your Ability. I think it's important to just kind of clarify that I have dyslexia, and I had the pleasure of being here this morning and giving a little bit of my insight and my knowledge and my experience of how I dealt with dyslexia in the workplace. I think it's very important that you have an open mind, especially in terms of dyslexia. I think it's one of those hidden disabilities. So somebody's going to come in, they're going to interview, you're not going to know that they have dyslexia. So really it's about having that open mind before they come in. And just bearing in mind that possibly 1 in 10 people that come in to interview will have dyslexia. You could potentially be losing out on a really strong talent pool. And these are people that have had to think outside the box all their life, and they've always been dealing with challenges. So for them to come into your business, they could certainly add value. There's a number of supports that people could, or that companies could put in place for a person with dyslexia. And it's not just going to benefit the person with dyslexia, it's going to be inclusive across the board, and it's going to increase the workforce. But if we look at 3 pieces of technology, so if we look at text-to-speech applications, which are widely available from free right up into the higher end in terms of read and write. So read and write is a really good piece of technology. You highlight your piece of text, and then it reads the text back to you. So for a person that might struggle with spelling, with reading, text help can work really well. So that's one piece of technology. The second piece being voice recognition. So again, voice recognition ranges from free right up to expensive pieces like Dragon Naturally Speaking. But again, if you're using Windows 7 in the office environment, there's actually a built-in free voice recognition piece of software. So if you go into Ease of Access Center, and you'll see voice recognition there. And again, a user with dyslexia can use that. And it's not just useful for the dyslexic user, it's useful across the board. The other piece that I think can be quite beneficial is something like a recording device. So like a LiveScribe pen, for example, is very beneficial. And what that does is it records a meeting, it records a session. We take notes as well. And when I go to review my notes, I can double tap anywhere on the page and it'll read back what was said at that given time. So again, that's useful for the dyslexic user who may struggle in taking notes, but it also can be very beneficial for the company director or for anybody across the board. Find out more about this assistive technology, or how I can help. Yourability.com. So if you want to click on there, we run a number of assistive technology training sessions, and we also sell a lot of the software.